Welcome to another entrepreneurship session. Today is exciting because I have with us today a friend of mine, a sister, and I'm so excited about our entrepreneurship journey. And I'm sure it would make a difference for you as you listen. So, we are gonna be doing this very soon, just waiting for her to come on live. And we'll begin shortly. Go call your friends. It's a very real story because entrepreneurship in Nigeria is not for the faint-hearted, they say. So, I will just wait a few more minutes for her to come.
Hi, can you hear me?
Um, yes, I can hear you. Happy birthday! I didn't even first realize that this was happening on your birthday until yesterday. I was like, oh wow, that's true. We actually
Yeah,
set this
I knew
up.
it was my birthday, but I was just like, I knew it was my birthday, but I was like, no, for
Ah,
SMG, I'm going to do this.
thank you for
One
honoring
minute,
us. We know.
that's something.
Can you
One
hear
minute,
us?
I can hear you. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yeah, I
Are you hearing
can.
the noise?
I heard something before, but now I can't hear anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Victoria.
Hello.
1 minute.
Thank you for joining.
Okay. Yay. Thank you so much, Busola. Thank you, Sarah, for greatness for having me on this.
Happy
It's always good to
birthday. Thank
go.
you for coming and for honoring our invitation on a special day like this. It makes it
Yeah.
extra special.
Yes, yes, yes. So,
Great. All right. So let's dive into the conversation. For those that are just joining, and we have with us Echika Obijiaku, our dear. Should we start from the Staring for Greatness and Goals? Maybe let's just start from. We're trying to farms now, so let's start.
whatever
Wow,
movie was.
serial entrepreneur, excellent financial literacy, educator at all our camps has made a difference. Our mentor to our teenagers, and then the CEO of Wanga Nigeria. And we're so excited that she's joining us today, sharing still on our entrepreneurship month, and we're talking about entrepreneurship in Nigeria. They say
Yeah,
it's not for the faint-hearted, so we
not
are
at all.
going to be exploring what that has been like for you and hopefully to inspire young entrepreneurs and those that have been toying with the idea of starting a business um, on what to do and how to navigate the interesting terrain of Nigeria. Great. Thank you all for joining. We appreciate your time and we look forward to a good conversation. So,
Yeah.
Echika, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
her birthday, so as you join, please wish her happy birthday. Thank you, Kemi, for wishing her happy
Kemi.
birthday.
Kemi, thank you.
All
Victor.
right, so let's dive into it. Tell us about your entrepreneurship journey. How did you become an entrepreneur? Was it something you thought you would be, or was it something you stumbled on? Let's hear it.
Okay, well, to be honest, I've always had this notion somewhere in my mind that when I get to 40 years old, I would maybe run a business, start a business, and run something big. Because I always, a lot of people that know me were even shocked knowing that I started business that early. I would say that early because of the time, because most people that know me felt like I was very career focused. So I was the kind of person who wanted to be like the MD director in one top, conglomerate, UN, World Bank type level. And so I was very career focused. So I had a very, very, good career path, let me put it that way. But at some point, the journey changed, and that's the beauty of life and how you seize opportunities when they come. My entrepreneurship journey really started from an opportunity that was given to me. So over the years, I had built skills while I was working in the 9 to 5 space, so to speak. I
Yeah.
built, skills that I was getting, and then by the side, I was also involved in a lot of volunteering activities, volunteering platforms, and also people around me, people I'd interacted with, had kind of witnessed some of the skills I'd built over time. And at
Yeah.
some point, while in that career path, I started to take an opportunity in trying 1 or 2 projects for people with a friend or a partner, let's put it that way. And then we tried it and it was great. We did a project and it went well. I was like, well, you know what? Maybe this can work. So we're
Yeah.
not sure if we dabbled into it. And the next time I now, when I took it bigger to start Mwanga, it also came to me as an opportunity. Someone saying, we need this skill, and you are the lady we thought we were the person that came to our mind for the job. So I would not say it was something I really planned at this age. No, I wanted to do it later in life. I knew I was going to do it eventually, but I wanted to do it later. But
Later.
opportunity came, and I just took it up. Yeah,
Great. So two things I heard was seizing opportunities and building capacity
yeah,
as you go, because when you're prepared and you build capacity over time, people recognize the excellent work that you're able to deliver. And when they share, you should not be afraid to take risk because I'm
yeah.
sure, like, how did it feel like, given that you had always thought, oh, I was going to do it later on, and then
Mhm.
deciding not
Me
at
too.
that moment that the opportunity came to jump and seize it and pour
Yeah,
yourself into it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, it was well. When it comes to career, or when it comes to even business or something, I think I've become more of a risk taker. Um, for me, I started entrepreneurship, but it took me a while to accept that I was an entrepreneur. So I
Mm.
remember then that I would still be doing the entrepreneurship thing, and then I would be looking out for one job, and
A
people would be
job
sending
on the side.
me. I remember that I even interviewed for one very, big firm and all that. But, at some point, it took me time to accept that, look, madam, you are now an entrepreneur.
And you
This
should.
is what you've been called to do at this time, and you need to
Mm.
stick to it. So, I had started running a business then. I started running, I started building my teams and all that. But what they didn't know is at that time, I was also not
Thinking
settled.
about.
It took me some time. So I think when I got to the point where I said, this is my path, and
Mm.
I need to close LinkedIn, stop responding to headhunters.
Yeah.
you know, at that point, I just went head on. I just went head on.
Oh, that's great to know. So before I go back to our questions that were prepared, you just said something that really caught my attention, and it's what made that difference? What was that pivoting point that made you say, actually, you know what, let me face this fully, especially in a climate like Nigeria where people are thinking, ish, let's find something
Yes,
stable. Yeah.
I guess for me, 2 or 3 things. One, I'm a woman of the spirit, so I would always run these things by the Holy Spirit as I'm taking the journey. So that was very
Mm-hmm.
important for me. Um, and even before I took every step to start any of these businesses, especially Mwanga, I had, the conversation with the Holy
Mm.
Spirit. Another thing is, with that conversation, you begin to understand what your journey is supposed to be, and I saw the kind of impact I was creating at
Mm.
Mwanga on the client side, on the side of the team. When you're like, it's like fish in water. I just knew that this is what I'm called to do. These are the people I'm sent, for. And the way it works, as you obey one, another part of your journey opens up, and then another batch of assignments is given to you. So I had to come to terms with saying, this is it. This is. I feel like I'm aligned with what I have been called,
Yeah.
do. So there was that impact I saw. So I knew I was going. So I wasn't running business for money, to be honest. At that point, I was enjoying the impact, more. I was enjoying the impact, the fact that I see I'm, able to hire people. And because of the kind of business, we're running, we had to, give people chances. So you're hiring people that other people may just toss away, and you're building them up. And I think the beauty for me, the turning point for me was when I started to see people that I joined, I brought on my team, that I
Yeah.
worked on, I trained, I started to see them transform. Man, Busola, that was it. I just felt like these are changed lives, this is why
Yeah.
I'm here. And for me, I said, shut every other thing. This is what you're called
And
to do at
focus.
this time. So it's very important if you can discern times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want us to go very spiritual because it's a spiritual, but discerning times and all. And while I had spoken to the Spirit about it, I knew this was what I was called to do. That impact was visibly, you know, um, was visibly felt, and I just had to make up my mind that what, shut everything down. Because the truth is, you need a lot of focus to even run business. You can't, at some point, if you're a confused mind, you can't even keep up. So I had to stay, focused. So that clear vision of this is what I'm called to do at this time.
Yeah.
It may not be about the money. It may be about people. It may be about lives. It may be about what is it that you are called to. At that time, I knew that was it. And so I shut everything down. And to be honest, I have not regretted it.
That's
Um,
great.
until-
And I'm sure the hundreds of people that have gone through Mwanga that are there
yeah.
currently, it's so amazing how the team has grown. You tell us more about it. I don't want to tell the story. I'm like, it's not my story.
I feel
But
like
just really watching and observing from the sidelines
yeah.
has been beautiful to watch. And I like that you said having that clear why is very important and staying focused. It's something for our young people to understand, for any entrepreneur to really understand, because when the going gets tough, then remembering why you're here, why you're called, especially like how it's not about like determining what it is for you. For you, it's impact, it's the lives that have been changed, both from the client side and the team as well, and just even having the opportunity to do something that is transformational for others.
Yeah.
Great. So the next question says, how has Nigerian system affected your journey and growth as an entrepreneur?
I need to be careful that I censor some of these I want to say. The Nigerian system. I'll say good and bad.
Mm.
Good because, and what I'm going to say as good may not sound good to the ears of some people. For the kind of team I was building,
Yeah.
I needed to, get people, school leavers, just people that the labor market will call the bottom of the food chain. But guess what?
Mm.
Those guys are gold, and going out to find them, because we have a very high rate of unemployment. So going out to find them,
Yeah.
in their mass,
Oops, looks like we lost.
in the beginning when I started was very, easy for me. But I knew that I was faced with a bigger problem. Like I can bring them in, but it's my job to transform them, because our educational systems in the university has not done justice to prepare, people for employee readiness. So
Yeah.
we had to work as a team, and just being able to find them in their mass, from inception. I think that was, a good one for me, even though, that has also led me into building Yafa. I'll probably talk about Yafa later.
Yeah.
Because when I started to see the mass of people unemployed and the reasons, I remember that we took a survey, and it's amazing how why most of the people think they are unemployed, still unemployed. So we were able to
Mm.
get a lot of them. The system at least made them, should I say, idle. So we brought in, a lot of them and started to train them, and these people have really transformed. Now, when it comes to the business aspects of things,
Yeah.
there's some regulatory bodies that don't even make it very easy for starters, startups. I don't want to mention names because we're on live, IG, but I'm talking to figure what I'm saying out. And I
Yeah.
remember I had a meeting one time with one of them, and I had all the things they were showing, oh, you have to do this, you have to pay this. And these things don't even have real basis. Let's put it that way. Um, they come up with all sorts of things. And I said, it's amazing because what you're doing is that you are discouraging businesses
People.
from coming open,
Yeah.
bringing, being open with you, showing you their real figures and all that, because they know that you're going to come from this other side and, rip them, off. And I said,
Yeah.
some of us are doing these things, not just for money, but we are taking people off the streets,
Mm-hmm.
and we should expect that there's some encouragement. Nobody says we're not going to do what the law says. Yeah, we will do it, but we
Yeah.
expect some form of encouragement from you to say, oh, the business is starting from, I know there are rules like that, or just even some concession for businesses
Yeah.
starting, you know, the in the early years, just to
Mm-hmm.
encourage people going to
And even
business,
how it's
encourage
implemented as well.
people. Yes, those kind of things. So, in the beginning, we met all that, the requirements here, requirements there. You turn your head, you will see one new one. They say, oh, because you are running, you have to pay for TV. You have to, I'm sorry, I was just doing lots of things. And
I can
at that point,
imagine.
we make these things kind of hard for business people. But
Yeah.
over time, we've been able to weather that, storm. And I think one of the things that is important for anyone starting business is, if you have people that are running business, maybe you want to sit with them and ask them if they'll be very truthful with you. They tell you what and what it entails. What
Yeah.
happens most times, people go into business blindly. What I mean is,
Mm.
they know the business they want to run, but they don't know it would entail when it comes to the government.
Mm.
So yes, I love to sew. I can make beautiful dresses. But what are the regulatory requirements for that
Yeah.
business I'm about to in a place like Lagos State? Lagos
Mm-hmm.
State. Do I know what are the things I need to have in place? Because businessmen just get surprise letters and surprise
From
visits
there. Yeah.
every other day. So that's it. Then there are a lot of other things for our business. Also, there's also the power issue as well, because we work with, we have to have, electricity
Yeah.
to be able to
The
do our
clock.
work effectively. There's that, and if that's not there, you're spending money on, the alternatives. They're all those things, but all in all, we've been able to um, manage things. It could be better, to be honest. So we just encourage more people to come, but it's not been the most. It's not been super impressive, when it comes to some of the requirements from the government. But yeah, over
Yeah.
time, I guess in the hang of it, you start to know what to do, and then you just find it. You just find your place. You just find your place.
Great. And I think like the key thing to remember from this is working in a tough environment, trying to start something new in a tough
Mm,
regulatory environment that is not
yeah.
even providing concessions or the basic infrastructure
Mhm.
is first do your research so that you're not caught by surprise or
Exactly.
taken unawares.
Yeah.
Like talk to
Yeah.
other and maybe also like you mentioned, have that circle of entrepreneurs that you're learning from on the
From
go
yeah.
and be flexible, I'd say. I think that's some of the things you've mentioned
Yeah.
directly as well. Yeah. Great. Thank you. So, how would you rate? I think this you've kind of touched on it. Starting up your own business in Nigeria, is it easy, tolerable, or hard? And why would you say this? And maybe you can just then respond to that from like the angle of how they both grown, the two different businesses that you've started. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I don't want to just come up and say it's easy, but to be honest, it can be easy, and that's why for it to be easy for you, you need to have like some sort of premise, that you're
Mm,
working with. Have you run a business before? What are the things? What are the lessons that came out of it? And what would you do better if you had another opportunity? So if I'm going to run
yeah.
a business now, I'll move faster than I did when I started Mwanga, um, because I know the things to watch out for. I know I kind of have a blueprint of the basic things I need,
To have.
or I need to do. And so kicking off for me will be faster than it was when I was running Mwanga. When I was running Mwanga, I had to make a lot of mistakes. I had to learn a lot of lessons. I had to kind of learn the hard way. But I think what would determine whether it is hard or is tolerable or is, whatever for you. First of all, you should know that you're in Nigeria. Our economy doesn't exactly help us, right? But
Yeah.
you as a business person, you need to have a lot of grit.
Mm,
You need to have a lot of grit. So, Sola, you know me, despite obstacles that maybe I have faced, that like every one of us has faced,
Yeah.
I don't back down. I can, go there, hit the brick or come back. But, you have to have a lot of grit. Having a
Mm-hmm.
lot of grit is you want to push through. But what helps that grit to be stronger is you have something inside that where you want to
You're
get to,
working towards.
and then you're working towards it. So I think for me with Wanga, and I used to hear a lot of people say, admire your grit, admire your grit. I just knew this is where we need to get to. We have all gotten
Yeah.
there, but for the different stages, I see us making huge, progress.
Mm-hmm.
That grit is there. So with that grit, it becomes, should I say, tolerable. Not
Mm.
hard. When people say it's hard, is that guess what? Even when it comes to funding, because most business people will come and tell me, oh, I need money, I
Where's
need
the
money. So
funding?
that,
Yeah.
I'm happy that you know the story, and you know that it's not, it is by funding, that's
Yeah.
not how
It won't be
it went
here.
down.
Mm-hmm.
But what would keep you going is the grit, because the grit eventually begins to transition into results,
Mm.
in business. And those results can actually keep you floating for a bit until you start to meet the right people that will give you maybe a platform to elevate you, to where you want to be. So I would not say it's hard, to be honest. I would not say it's hard because you register your business, CAC, that one is, you can easily get a lawyer, easy.
Yeah.
You start if you know if you have to belong to an association based on what you are doing.
So,
Go and check out the association. What are they about? What do they know? Learn. I think the thing is most entrepreneurs don't take the time to research
mm.
or talk to people. And when I mean talk to people, you have to ask a lot of questions. You cannot just say, "Oh, how are they doing the business?" How ask questions. What are the things? Almost ask as if you want to know the person's day to day, what
Mm.
it's like. Ask those questions, do some research. If you
Yeah.
spend like a few weeks of your time doing research and asking questions, when you kick off, you're going to move faster rather than you
Mm-hmm.
just starting and
Um,
then, you just start meeting, bumps. It doesn't mean that if you do your research, you won't meet bumps. No, it doesn't mean that. But
but you'll
you are
be
just
better
a lot
prepared.
more knowledgeable, of things. So
Mm.
I would say in between easy and tolerable, well, was my, experience. And also, I always choose to look at the positive. I always choose to look at things positively.
It's
Even if
important.
there were things that looked hard, I always tell myself that you see this, I would say, well, I would have a different result, and that's the way I've always viewed, my life, that I would not have the result as of an ordinary person. I would
Yeah.
have a different result. That's what makes me stand out as a unique being. You understand? So yeah,
Powerful. Being optimistic and having grit is very important
very important. Yeah.
as we navigate interesting terrains, whether it's in Nigeria or anywhere else. Starting a business, I think that's one thing that I can say most of the entrepreneurs around me that have grown something have in common, that grit.
Mhm.
And also it's important to be optimistic. Like
Yeah.
you can't be working hard and then saying negative things.
Yeah.
Like you're pouring your water into a
Yeah.
basket. So
Exactly. Because
you
guess what?
have
It's not
to,
easy anywhere, but you need to know, you need to be so fixed on the positive. That's the only way you'll be encouraged to even move forward. Yeah.
yeah. And I know when you were talking, you mentioned like the basic things you do at the beginning that you can outsource. So what is the place of structure in fast
Mhm.
tracking or making your business um
Smooth. Yeah.
scale faster or the journey smoother?
Yeah. So I think depending on the business you are running, because I have a background of, a bit of analytics and modeling and all that. For me, Excel is like my bread and butter. So I remember when I was starting businesses, most of the templates, I used in structures, reports, and all that. I set them up myself.
Mm,
I did a lot of things myself, and that's because I had the skill to do
that is
it.
still.
But if you don't
Mhm.
have the skill to do it, the truth is it's okay to outsource some things. For example, I hear a lot of entrepreneurs suffering with their financial accounting bits and all that, and they suffer a lot with it. I'm saying, see, if you're not an accountant, if that grace of accounting has not been given to you.
Oh, looks like we lost your volume. Can you hear me? Hello? Okay, can hear you now.
Oh,
Oh, the birthday
so,
calls.
yeah, so,
That's fine. We'll soon release you to them.
that's right. So things like your accounting. I know when I started, I set up like, I remember setting up this Excel type petty cash sheet to
Yeah.
just watch basic inflows
To
and
track.
outflows and all.
Mm.
Then I had Wave, that I was using for my invoice and all that. And I could do that because I also have that accounting background, right? But if you don't know how to do it, there are accounting platforms that you can outsource these things to.
Mm-hmm.
There's Yeta, there is Accounting Hub, there are a lot of them. And these
Yeah.
people charge really cheap for, on a monthly basis. They take care of
Mm-hmm.
that bit. They probably just give you a template and say, oh, enter in. They just make your life a bit easy. So what you do is that when you're starting that, you are using them for maybe put it as in mind that, oh, I'm going to outsource my accounting for, let's say, 6 months to a year. Pending the time your team
Mm-hmm.
grows, and then you can now afford to hire
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
in-house. Outsource that.
In-house.
Your legal documents, contracts, because I see a lot of people doing business without contracts, and I'm like, come on, don't shoot yourself in the foot. Get your legal contract. There are lawyers you can outsource it to. There are legal firms for SMEs. There's one I can't remember their names now. There are a lot of legal firms who do DIY law. There are a lot of them like that.
Yeah.
Outsource your legal things to those companies. If you cannot afford to outsource, then you need to be ready to do a bit of the work. And what I mean by the work is do your research and get templates. The
Mm-hmm.
templates everywhere. Google is your friend.
Mm-hmm.
You want an NDA, there's a template there.
Google.
Get a template, maybe get a lawyer friend to look at. I did a lot of these things. I remember when I had to do like a landing page for one of the websites. I had to go on YouTube and all that. And I built a landing page. I don't know, I'm not a developer, but I needed to do it and I
Yeah.
could not afford at that time to do. So if it's to outsource your legal, outsource your legal. If you cannot afford to outsource, be ready to also do some of the work. If you have a lawyer friend, oh, help me with a template of an NDA, build your folders with those things. I've said legal, I've said accounting.
Yeah.
Another thing
Yeah.
is when it comes to tech, yeah. So when it comes to tech, depending on what your business is doing, if it's social media management and you know that the kind of work you're doing is not one that you have time to be posting and all that. Like I've had to build social media schedules for entrepreneurs, before build it for them and also advise them on, platforms they can use to schedule their posts. But if you
Yeah.
know you don't have that time, you can get a social media manager. A lot of them out there too.
Mm-hmm.
So the plan is that you're not outsourcing for a long time. No, because you need to build capacity and make a lot of revenue.
Yeah.
Those things that are not they're key to your
Or.
business, but they are not the core, right?
Mm.
Outsource it. Outsource your social media management, outsource your accounting, your financial accounting, your bookkeeping. At the end of the month, the person shares reports with you. The person is able to discuss financial analysis with you and give you one or two feedback. Do this better, do this. And they even guide
Yeah.
you in how to start keeping your books. Make sure you keep this receipt. They design things for you. They help you because they are like the light where you are blind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Legal, outsource, or get templates.
Yeah.
If you are a person that is very, if you feel like you have the energy, get templates. Go on Wave or Zoho Books. Sign up if you want to do those things yourself. But tech, outsource tech. What other things? HR.
Mm.
If you feel at that point you cannot afford a HR manager, there are HR platforms that you can outsource your HR to, or you want to get people to, you want to hire people. There are platforms that help you recruit. So I'm saying this because a lot of entrepreneurs just put themselves under stress. And when
Yeah.
people say, oh, I see you doing it, Echika, when I say we're all differently wired, though. Me, I have built a lot of this, some of these skills, right? And even
Yeah.
even
Or
with the things I had, at some point, I had to outsource some of these things in the beginning
to
because I
focus
knew
on
that I
the
was
work.
going to
Yeah.
run myself to almost, to
Burnt
a
out.
mess.
Mm.
Yeah, if I would have just been burnt out, if I wanted to carry all the load, when I all had to do was focus on managing my team, managing my internal processes, and ensuring that I get results that will build to revenue and create the impact that I
Yeah.
want. So I think people should embrace outsourcing. I feel like some of the reasons why some people don't embrace outsourcing, maybe it's issue of trust.
Mm.
You feel like these are your is your business stuff. I'm releasing to a third party. I don't know. That's why you have contracts, right? To sign, and those people will assure you data privacy and all that. They may or they may not keep it, but you have those contracts. But the
Yeah.
truth is, even when you get a staff, you bring all the staff into your office and you give them this function. How are you sure your staff cannot
If you're
do
not taking it
something to
out,
you?
yeah.
You
You
understand?
have to try.
So you really don't know these things. But to make your life easy, come on, please
Yeah.
outsource some of the things so that you can live long and run that business well. So
Perfect. So outsource and build those structures in from the
Yeah.
get-go so that you can go faster and go
Yeah.
further. Great. So since we're like really about young people and young entrepreneurs, trying to encourage them to start business, what would be your advice to
Okay.
our students, teenagers, those that have like business ideas? Like for them, it might be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this things that you're saying. They're like, oh, I'm still in school.
Mm-hmm.
What should they know to be able to start and successfully run a
A
business
business.
at their age? Yeah.
So I think so first of all, they need to know what business they want to run. So what problem are you solving? Some of them just want to run business to make money. That's actually not a bad thing, You can run business to make money, you can run business for impact, whichever way. But at some point, while you're running business to make money, make sure you are building passion because that passion you will need it as well. So you will
Yeah.
know what you want to solve, you know the business you want to run. I would say first of all, if you can find a mentor, it will be good. For
Mm,
that age, you need some form of guidance because you don't want a situation where you are carried away with making money or doing something right. That what you ought to be focusing on at that time of your life, in some cases maybe school, right? What
yeah.
you ought to be focusing on at that time of your life, you're not focusing on it because you are busy trying to run a business. But you
Mm,
need a mentor to be able to guide. What the mentor does is the mentor works with you to bring your thoughts to paper. Oh, I want to run a shoemaking business, for instance. Bring your thoughts to paper. This is what I want to do. These are the kind of shoes I want to create, or I want to
mhm,
build, or I want to make, right? And this is like how much you want to sell it. The mentor is able to ask you questions. Okay, so are you the one making the shoe, or do you have someone making it for you?
yeah.
How much do you have, in capital, or do you want to raise money from family and friends?
Mhm,
Because first of all, you have to think about the idea, which is the business itself. You have to think about capital. So capital is not necessarily huge funding, but just something to
yeah.
kick off with. So funding, where am I going to get the funds from? But before you say where am I going to get the funds from, how much do you need?
Mm,
Because most business people just say, I need funding, I need funding. Then you say, how
I
much
don't
do you
even know
need?
how
What do you
much.
need it for? Yes. And what do you need it for? So most people don't even know what they need it for. What do you need it for? Do I need to buy a machine or something? What are the things you need for? What are the things? And when you put that to paper, this is the business I want to run. These are the things I need to run the business, right?
Yeah.
And to get these things, I need this amount of money. So you've talked about money, you've talked about the business idea. Now, to run this business effectively, who do I need? The people.
Mm,
Can I do it myself, or do I need to get maybe a worker, out there? Do I need to hire
yeah.
people? So once you itemize those things, it's now a case of running this business, managing these people alongside what I'm doing currently as a teenager.
Mm,
Can that work? Because if you're in school preparing for WAEC, I don't see how you want to run a business and all that. Can that work? If it's a case where it can't work, have something, I'm sitting for a big exam or something,
mhm,
can you get a partner that
mm,
is available? And that partner doesn't necessarily even need to be a
like
teenager,
same age.
it can be maybe someone close to you, your relation or something, or someone you trust that can partner and maybe help to manage the affairs of business while you are in that season. But remember, in all of this, whether you're a teenager or not, there must be written agreement. And that's where a mentor comes in to guide you. So if I have to bring in some collaboration, there has to be an agreement written because human beings, what I've noticed when it comes to money, people change.
Yeah.
So you need that mentor to be able to guide you to say, oh, you have this business idea. This is what you need. This is how much you need to get what you need. Who are the people you need? Now, when you itemize all that, if it's something you can afford to run, then you start to run it, but you still need to have that mentor to check. And a beautiful what I love about the SFG community, Staring for Greatness community, because the community is able to have that ring of mentors that can
Yeah.
actually guide such teenagers, onto a very good stage in that business. And so these are the kind of communities you need to plug yourself into and make yourself accountable
To
to
them.
these people, and they're checking on you. They are they're helping you. And then when it comes to the funding bit, you can't get everything you need at once.
Mhm.
Entrepreneurs need to learn how to, you know with whatever you have, make do with it and just start off. Get what is important, not
Yeah.
what is good to have. What you must have in that
Mm-hmm.
business side? What is it that you must have? Get the capital, for it. How do you get the capital for it? There's family and friends, Sonny. There are also organizations that give all these grants to even young people running businesses. But you may not know if you are not plugged into a community that doesn't share opportunities with you. So
Mm-hmm.
plug yourself into a community. Get yourself, a mentor to be able to guide you through that early phase. And first and most importantly, don't look down on yourself saying, "Oh, I'm a teenager, I can't run a business." That is a lie. Young
Yeah.
people are doing amazing things. And it's even good for you if you start now, because when you even start running multiple businesses in the future, you have built a wealth of experience over time
And the
that will
stakes are
just
low.
make you make it. Yes, yeah. So
Like you
that's
don't
it.
have to worry about bills and all that. So
Yes,
just build capacity
build up
when you can.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing. I think now I'll open up to those that have joined us. If you have any questions for Echika, please put it in the comments. I'll read it out to her. Um, One last question, which I think is still around the young people, is centered around parents, because I know that a lot of adults have joined today, and the like parents and I don't know, maybe from the few that we've worked with, there's still a lot of mindset shifts that needs to happen to get them to allow their children, their wards to explore entrepreneurship as a potential career path.
Okay, I lost you for
Okay,
a bit. Yeah,
okay, great.
lost you for a bit.
I was not sure if it
Okay.
was from my end. Okay. Yeah, so I was
Okay.
asking around like encourage what would you say to parents? Because many of them don't see entrepreneurship as a career path. So would you say can it be a potential career path one? And how
Oh,
do
yeah.
they encourage their wards or maybe to your younger sibling that you see that is these are some of the things that Chika has shared are conversations that you can have. So how would you say parents should navigate
Mhm.
this conversation? Yeah.
Okay. First, I think parents need to do a good job with really
Hmm.
studying their children. I have a lot of kids, kind of around me, and my SPAC team as well. I have a lot of kids around me, and one thing I am careful to do is to observe them well. I can
Mm-hmm.
tell you those are very art inclined. I can tell you those are very, I can tell you the parts of most of the kids around because I observe. When a child, and parents need to understand that we have times are changing. And to be honest, the boom of entrepreneurship, these days, the rise is just, getting higher and higher.
Yeah.
And you have most of the most successful people all are really entrepreneurs, employing other people to work in their corporations, right? But it starts from somewhere. There's a starting point. So when your child has shown an interest in running a particular business, please do not shut it down. What you need to do is to begin to ask more questions. So what is this thing you want to do? Oh,
Mm.
I want to make cookies. Why do you want to make cookies? Do you even know how to make cookies? Or I don't know how to make cookies. I want to learn. You may even notice that this child just has a flair for the kitchen. Whenever you're in the kitchen, boy or girl, the person is always there trying to learn one or two things. Encourage the child. There's nothing wrong with taking the child to a baking school, or getting someone that can bake if you cannot bake to come in and teach the person. Encourage the child to watch videos. Maybe the thing is people are is going to happen. Is that what? No, remember that this is on an educational
Yeah.
path, right? And so most likely they are learning things in school. They will obviously maybe have one career path or they work in one office, something aligned to something they want to do on the career path. But never forget that the child can actually still run business on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And so parents must never rule that out. And they must never I don't know if you get my point. The child doesn't have to get to a certain age for the child to start business.
Yeah.
Your children can start now. There is this video of the little child that the little boy that sells bow ties. I think we've watched it at some of our camps,
It's like
right?
we've lost you again. Network.
Job in observing their children. And you observe your child, begin to ask more questions. When you ask more questions, your children will be different. When you ask more questions, ask each child, questions, spend time. I'm also I'm also I will also go into the place of the spirit. You also need to ask, in prayer what the path of that child is, and
Yeah.
begin to encourage that child in that path. So if you see a child that wants to run maybe a tech related business, begin to ask questions, begin to pray, begin to encourage by putting child in summer school that has to do with maybe coding or stuff like that. Begin to encourage that child in that community,
Yeah.
because what you have done is you have made the child's journey easier.
Yeah.
What the child is going to, what some of us as entrepreneurs are learning at this age, these
No.
children learn way younger,
Earlier.
and so they can start earlier and start to make that impact very early. So don't think there's a particular age for entrepreneurship. No, the child can start now. The child can even start while the child is in school. I know children that have baking outfits. I know children that are selling, specific items that kids love. So they figure that children love these things, let's sell it, and they're making, money out of it.
And their children themselves, so they can
Yeah, the
also
children themselves.
connect
I
to
know
the
children
market.
that are into like I know children that are into modeling. So children have just evolved. So if we keep looking at these kids with the eye of when we were growing, that one has passed. So you need to even encourage your child. You need to say, I'm
Yeah.
going to find the genius of my child at this young age. Expose them to whatever you think is their path. It can even be interesting. It can be in research. It can be in writing, articles. Encourage them. I'll give this little story. My elder brother, growing up, was very good with writing and poetry. And I remember that my dad and my mom took very close observation that he would write all these things. So he would write and he would just write it and squeeze them and throw them in the bin. And so my dad started to pick out these things,
Mm.
pick out, and my dad just found out that look at this child, a genius, a genius there in the making, right? Luckily, he also had a teacher in school who also took interest. My dad piled up all these things, and that was how my brother was able to put together a book in junior secondary. But my dad
Wow.
pushed and encouraged and put it together, pushed it, started to push it for publishing, and it opened my brother up to, competitions at that young age. Now
Yeah.
imagine if he didn't have an observant parent, or the parents were not observant, or the teacher was not observant, or they didn't care, or they didn't pay keen, close interest. So we shouldn't despise a lot of things our children are doing. If you notice that your child is very good with, little things, they know how to arrange things properly, begin to observe, because that is a path for them. They will do it easily. So what you do as a parent is, once you observe and you start to ask a lot of questions, see what this child takes interest in, and you have gone in prayer, and you feel that peace that, okay, allow this child to ride the path, let the child go. The child is still going to go to secondary school, university, and maybe even get a job, right? But if the child is able to start that thing they love from a young age, it's a very good place to be in. Most of us that have done 9 to 5, we know that when there are sometimes that your 9 to 5 will be annoying you, just be like, I'm tired. I want to
Yeah.
step out. I don't want to work again. But when you step out and work again, what are you doing? So most people were caught in that web of they had nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine if you had something that you love, that you had been building all the while. You
Yeah.
go there, and
Have a backup plan.
that's your powerful place. And what you have done is you have caused that child to evolve. Look at the Zuckerbergs. Look at those guys were into this tech thing for a long time. They shone school at some point. So entrepreneurship is something parents should embrace, because the truth is the ability for your child to even make more money. Because if money is the focus for you as a parent, make more money is there. But you need to partner with the child
To make it work.
to show the child that, look, your interest, your desire in terms of what you love to do as a maybe a skill or whatever is valid. I'm here for you. You can talk to me. You can share with me. You can show me the things you created. Be the
Mm-hmm.
child's number one fan.
Yeah.
It's an
And
outsider.
talk
Yeah.
about that those things and look for opportunities, like you
Yes.
mentioned.
You
Yeah.
see, if the child is art inclined, you see an art competition, sign the child up. Oh, I saw this thing that we great. Come, let's go. Take the child for
Mhm.
art exhibitions. These children, the truth is, it's what you are doing with them now, especially in the areas of the things they love, that they
Yeah.
will remember. I can tell the story of my brother now because my parents were involved,
Hmm.
you know, and it's the same for every parent. So God has given us very unique children with amazing skills. In fact, the level of skills that you are going to see in the years to come will be mind blowing. So it's
Definitely.
right for you as a parent at this age or at this time, sorry, to pay close attention. They're your number. I think the children are your first ministry above every other thing else.
Yep.
So do that one right. You know, the way you are having grit running your business and running your career, the children are also that very important. In fact, they're more important than that career or business.
Hmm.
So pay close attention to them and begin to encourage them in that journey. Entrepreneurship should be embraced. Should be embraced. We are no more at that time where it's something to frown at. No, it's something of pride and it should be embraced. So
Great. Sorry, my background is a bit noisy now. But just one last, I think our time is almost up. If anyone has any question, please put in the chat for Echika. But our last question from our hand is any parting words that you want
mm,
for those that generally want are thinking around entrepreneurship in Nigeria or anything else you want to share, really. It's your birthday. Any
yeah.
gifts you want to give to the world as we listen to you today?
So well, I think for entrepreneurship, what I would say is, you are enough. Never feel that any any business you want to do. Never ever think that you don't have the capacity to run it. No. That's why I always say you have to have that very positive mindset. You can do anything. That's the truth. You can do anything. You just need to believe that first you can do it right. And then, like I said, begin to talk to people around that area of what you want to do. And what is very important as well is the grit. For a business person, that grit will take you far because business can be up and down. There are good days, there are bad days, there are dry months, there are good months. But what keeps you going? You can't be getting depressed every time as a business person. Find yourself in a society or community that have entrepreneurs that can encourage you from time to time. Be a part of those things. Have entrepreneur friends that you can, sometimes you just want to call and just say, now, wow, this thing is, you want to vent. Have those people in your support system that like your safe space that you can talk to. Because the truth is, as a businessman or woman, you will need those people. Even as a normal individual, you will need those people to talk to bear, to bear all. And then when you're running a business, you also need to have the vision in focus. The truth is, when you're starting a business, you may not actually have a clear vision for when you're starting. So don't feel bad when you're starting and then they're saying, so what's the vision of your business? And then you don't know it. But this is what you want to do, right? Over time, you begin to craft, that vision will begin to build up, in you. But you don't go too far in business without having that vision. But if you don't have to start with everything, but over time, the vision will build. There's grit, there's that vision, in focus, and there is you having a positive mindset. There is nothing you cannot do. People are doing amazing things all over, Africa, and so you're not any less. You're not any less. I see a question here. Jesse Tommy says, what do you recommend gap year for kids opportunities? Yeah, okay. If I get the question right, yes. Um, anyways, there's an amazing place called ALA. And I'm telling you that we're waiting for you to bring ALA tonight. We're waiting for you to bring ALA to Nigeria because I think we.
No, we're bringing our own version.
You said?
So we're bringing our own version.
Okay, that was acceptable. But because yes, one of the things I want parents to also try out, and I know maybe also the economy that we also live in may not be that safe or trusting sometimes. My children are on breaks. holidays and all, especially long holidays, give them some opportunity to intern in places, especially in places that are aligned to the things they like. Give them the opportunity to intern. If you can, if you have a close friend that has something that your children can begin to expose them to those working things. I've found out that people that are exposed to those levels of or depth of volunteer opportunities, they turn out way better by the time they get, of age. Let's put it that way. They turn out way better because they've been exposed to a lot of opportunities. They've been exposed to a lot of scenarios. Their thinking is different, because they have kind of tasted it almost firsthand compared to someone just starting. Internships, take advantage of it. Entrepreneurship, businesses, take advantage. If they start something during the holiday, let them try to get their hands. You are there. Remember, I said your children are your first ministry. You should partner with them to ensure that which God has put in them, right? That holiday is not just for resting and going to take ice cream and going to play but it's also a building time for your children because that's the time you have with them before they go back to school, right? Use that opportunity well. Yeah, and if it's possible, because the truth is the way we've grown now, there's nobody, whether you start university at age 16, you start at age 13, both of us we shall graduate, right? So if you want to take a gap year, you know, run some kind of enterprise, and it's fine, but you need to have the support of your parents. You need to have that support of your guardians, so that at least in that gap year, while you're, in the teaching stage of business, you have people supporting you, right? But there are cases where some parents will not accept that, and it's okay as well. Different strokes for different folks. But
Yeah.
for this year, this is what we're going to encourage. This is what's going to happen. In this year, you're going to be able to build this business that we have been talking about for a year. And there are platforms that even encourage you. So SFG is one of them. ALA is, one of them. There are other platforms like that you can plug your child into so that they start to build that healthy community that sharpens their entrepreneurial skills. Yes. So, I would really recommend my children should get ready. They have internships to do.
Yay. Great. Thank you so much. I don't think there's any other question, but just to recap the beautiful conversation that we've had for the last almost an hour, for
Yeah.
those that joined later, Echika shared a lot, but I think the key things that I picked first from like doing business in Nigeria around, or even if you just want to start any business, to be able to seize and recognize and seize opportunities, to build capacity, to also recognize your clear why. And there's a place of, if you're a person of faith, to be discerning and let God lead you.
Yeah.
Also, she shared with us, I took so many notes around building structure. Like it's okay to outsource certain aspects of your business, like legal, finance, or accounting, technology, social media, and so on, HR, so that you can focus on what is your strength and it will help you accelerate growth really fast. And then the need to have a mentor, especially if you're a young person that is going into business, find a mentor that can ask you certain critical questions that can help brainstorm those questions with you so that you're not alone on the journey and you don't get distracted, especially when things get rough. So, two questions you should ask yourself if you're toiling with the idea of do I want to go into business, especially if you're like a career person, as you shared with us at the
Yeah.
beginning. What problem do you want to solve? What
So,
do
yeah.
you need to be able to solve this problem? How much do you need? Because many people say, oh, capital. No, sometimes you don't even know what that means. Like sometimes it's just social capital that you need. And she shared with us how she was able to seize that. And remember that you're enough and you just need to have the grit to keep going. I hope I summarized it well enough. And for parents, please consider entrepreneurship as a career path. It doesn't mean that your kids would not go to school. That's one of the things we advocate for here at Staring for Greatness. It's about an entrepreneurial mindset, which are some of the things she has shared. People that can recognize, see problems, but rather than see problems, they see them as opportunities to make a difference. And yeah, and they build a skill set that will differentiate them from their
Yeah.
peers, even when they get into the workplace.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you so much, Echika, for joining us. So fun chatting with you. We really appreciate your time. Happy birthday once again.
Thank
We
you.
pray that it's a beautiful and blessed year. And Mwanga and Yafa, we didn't talk about it
Yeah,
actually.
we talk about Yafa, but yeah.
Yafa would grow, yeah. But another time, when maybe when we're talking
Definitely.
about employment readiness, one of these months,
Yeah, that's
we
where
will,
Yafa.
we will come in and talk and break it further. Thank you everyone for
Yeah.
joining us. We look forward to your interaction on the page. If you don't follow us, please do. And share with your young ones, your siblings, your friends, kids in your neighborhood. We have a lot of exciting plans and programs that we roll out
Yeah.
content now and then. Great. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Have a lovely day.
And you too. Bye, everyone.
Bye.